Good morning, everybody. Welcome to MarDreamin Day 2. Hope you had an awesome time with that panel that we just had for the opening keynote. Today we've got a session with Philip. He's going to go over the two main questions I think we always ask ourselves or have asked at some point in our lives: build or buy, agency or ISV. If you guys do have any questions during the session, you'll see a Q&A tab. Go ahead and put them in there. We're going to try to have some time at the end to be able to open up some questions for Philip. So with that, Philip, I'll let you take it away.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, Sarah. And you can hear me loud and clear, I assume. So testing was successful. So hi, everyone. I'm Philip Schweitzer. I'm co-founder and CEO at SalesWings. We're a certified Marketing Cloud ISV partner. And when I thought about a good topic for this event, I felt, well, build or buy is such an important question. And it's such a daunting question as well in certain moments that every customer or company should really consider whenever they are approaching a new project. So let's get started here. So firstly, quick thanks also from my side to all the sponsors making this event possible. It's fantastic to have these events to bring the ecosystem together. And particular thanks to Sercante and Sarah as well for all the support around this session. So very briefly about myself, so you understand a little bit where my experience comes from, linked to these tips that I'll be able to share today. So I'm co-founder and CEO at SalesWings, as I mentioned. So we're a Salesforce ISV, and we augment the Salesforce Marketing Cloud with essential B2B capabilities. So Marketing Cloud traditionally been built for B2C. So here, of course, we're talking about exact target. And SalesWings will complement that with the kind of Marketo type, Pardot type B2B capabilities. So I have founded or co-founded and run this company so far, and I have about 10 years of experience in the Salesforce and Marketing Cloud ecosystem. I also have quite a bit of experience selecting and implementing off-the-shelf platforms, maintaining them, etc. So let's say buying. And then I'm running a product team here and the engineering team for the past 8 years, in fact. So I do have also experience building software, know some of the pitfalls and the things to watch out for. Yeah, about me. So, well, I'm a father of 3. Love Swiss chocolate. I live here in Switzerland, and hopefully look forward to meeting some of you in person one day, possibly at Chicago next year. So let's get to it. So first, a quick introduction to build or buy. So should I build or should I buy? And then I wanted to present you some of the pros and cons of both of these approaches, and then give you also some tips around the Marketing Cloud ISV ecosystem and the Appexchange very briefly, and we'll conclude and hopefully have some time for questions. So should I build or should I buy? You may have, many of you, in fact, may have faced a situation in the past where you have identified a pain point or a problem in your business. You have found an opportunity to enhance an existing process around the Marketing Cloud, or where something needs, typically optimization. So from my experience talking to organizations around the globe, so we do work globally with companies in many different industries. We engage agencies on the one hand, we engage corporations. So you have typically 4 options here. So status quo, so you cannot do anything about it, typically if it's not a big priority for you. You can buy an off-the-shelf solution. So you can buy a software which eventually does what you want it to do and it solves it well, or you can build a solution or software or integration yourself. And of course, then there's also the hybrid approach where you're going to say, well, we're going to possibly take some existing functionality in Marketing Cloud or an existing tool we have, and we're going to code on top of that, possibly open source. And a few examples just to start with. So think about web forms. So many companies, when they start working with Marketing Cloud, they have a range of different types of web forms. Critical process to get these leads or subscribers into Marketing Cloud. So you could replace these forms with Marketing Cloud forms. You could just build integrations between these form vendors and the Marketing Cloud, or you could replace them altogether with a Marketing Cloud ISV solution. Another example, so of course, in our context, you have possibly need to qualify leads, which is not native functionality in Marketing Cloud. You're looking for lead scoring, so you could customize Salesforce Marketing Cloud Einstein to a certain extent. You could go with an ISV, or maybe you just want to add a channel to the mix and be able to maybe engage buyers on TikTok. So typically, there's many situations where you have this situation, and the very first recommendation is always consider both options. Always look at building it and buying it, and weigh the benefits, the pros and cons of both against each other. Now, how can you go about this decision? So as a team internally, and often these teams are cross-functional, you want to start thinking about what is the problem, how big is that problem, and how will the solution need to evolve. So what is the problem? So I feel this is a super important point to stress. Where does the problem come from? We have situations when we speak to clients and they have some existing solution, in fact, that they're not using properly. So they're trying to replace what they have with a newer, better solution, or even a customization. But in fact, it's not a tool problem. It may be a process problem. It may be a knowledge problem, or a training problem. Beyond, of course, clearly understanding then the actual issue that you may be facing. So, and how big is that problem? So it is essential that you try to quantify the impact of a process that you want to enhance, or a issue you're trying to solve. So an integration, so between two different systems, what will I benefit from that, but what's the impact today? And that will really allow you also to understand how much resources are you able to invest into either a customization that you're doing internally or with an agency, or how much are you going to be able to spend on a ISV. So how big of a problem is that really? Furthermore, and that I would say is one of the most important ones, is think ahead and how your solution will have to evolve. Whether you are, so let's say you're considering buying a software, you want to be clear about the must-haves today and the must-haves tomorrow. So the must-haves have to be part of the software that you're buying. But if you are aware and you know that your business will evolve in a specific direction in the future, maybe it will be growing, maybe you know of additional complexities coming up, you want to make sure that the software you're buying has that flexibility over time. Otherwise, you're quickly running into roadblock. On the custom development side, this is equally important. Most importantly, this will have a large impact on the cost of custom development. So software development, of course, is complex, and over time can be a growing cost. But there is a cost to every little functionality you're building, not just building it, but maintaining it. And that can effectively go out of hand. So this is really key that you think in the future. Another question, of course, as you're looking to ask yourself, build or buy, is how unique is this problem really that I have? So it may be that you're in a specific industry and the way you operate in the company is very, very unique, which in fact is rarely the case, but it could be, well, having a unique problem may in fact be a justification to go for a custom solution. But it may well be that there is it's a problem you're trying to solve, which has been solved by other companies. So do research and think about, well, how have others solved this problem? Are there specialized software vendors as well that that are solving this with subject matter expertise that is built into this ISV or this software company? So that is definitely a key question. The other one, of course, is time to value or time to solving this problem. Is it very urgent or not? Do we have time to solve this problem, etc.? And then also, and that's very specifically, are there synergies with our strategic mission? So think about AWS. So it's not in the concept of Marketing Cloud, but AWS is an e-commerce company, or was to start with. Because they had a strong need for servers and managing load and all of this, they decided, well, we're going to be able to save costs by building our own server centers, which today has turned into a very important business branch of AWS. So I wanted to give you a couple of examples, a little bit abstract here, but consider the family, this family, and they need a car. Well, how big is that problem? Well, it is a big problem because the car broke down and they live in a remote area. How unique is their problem? Well, not so much, because there's a lot of families out there that need cars. There's a lot of cars available in the market as well, and they do need to they do need to fix it very, very fast as well. And how will that solution need to evolve? Well, mildly, maybe just another family member are going to be showing up, but that may not be a problem. And how is this aligned with the strategic mission? Well, this is not a racing car family, so they're going to buy a car. And on the other hand, consider that. So the other extreme is NASA. Well, NASA needs a car, and the need is definitely large. And how unique is it? Well, it's rather unique because you need the car to run on the moon or on Mars. And then how quickly does that problem need to be solved? Well, there is no large urgency, right? So NASA will have maybe a decade to build a car and make it work for their requirement. Solution design will constantly evolve. It's hard to anticipate if the existing rover or whatever they have is going to work out, and it's essentially strategic to their mission. So they're going to build their own car for Mars. Now let's have a look at some of the pros and cons here. And let's start with building. So software and customization that you build is made for you. So if you have a unique need that you cannot find in the market off the shelf, well, building is definitely an option to look at. So there's uniqueness. It'll give you a competitive advantage by solving this for you. So that's one of the largest benefits you have. It will also give you flexibility over time. So if you know that this software will have to grow, but you're not 100% sure to what extent, well, custom build is you can always build on top of that. Now, do consider that adding functionality in software development is not straightforward. It's not as easy as turning on a feature. So the flexibility is there, but it can be costly and hard to anticipate. And finally, then one of the big pros is, well, it's yours. So there is an element of IP, of course, if it's something that you could resell or that is strategic, that will really give you a competitive edge. But you also have control over this customization, which means that there's no risk that you're going to just turn off a feature. Marketing Cloud has retired Microsoft Dynamics. Existing software companies can retire functionality here and there, and you can't control this, and you can't just ask these companies to build some functionality for you either. Now, on the cons, and I think this is important, so there are, of course, quick solutions, quick integrations, quick things you can build as well. Generally, if you have a broader need, a customization will almost always cost you more than an off-the-shelf platform. So there's a cost of building it. There's internal resources that are focusing essentially on something that may not be strategic. So they're working sort of on the business and not in the business. and the cost is a risk, especially as it evolves. The other thing is if you have a need to quickly go to market, so customization may just take a little bit longer. And depending on where you do your research, about 50% of IT projects, I would claim it's 70, just take much longer than it is anticipated because it's hard. There's things, roadblocks on the way, and planning is a challenge. So if you have a clear timeline when you need something, customization may be, or custom build may be risky. And then there's also a life cycle risks that you have to be aware of when you customize. So when you work with an agency or you're doing something internally, there are developers and team members attached to this project, and they may leave. So building and running a software and maintaining a software, there's a lot of knowledge retention that you need to manage. So over time, this creates dependencies on people, and it can just happen that you may turn off a customization. Now, let's quickly stay with the cons, but we're going to move over now to the buying situation. Now, buying software and evaluating software is actually quite hard. If you think about the marketing technology space where SalesWings is in, there's over 8,000 software out there. Many of them resemble a little bit. They make promises at times which may be misunderstood or are unclear, and it's generally hard. Hence the importance of being very, very clear about the needs and the requirements that you have. And by the way, so you can easily start with a spreadsheet. So I assume this is really small, but you could list all your requirements. Are they a must-have? Must be solved today? Must be solved tomorrow? Think about this uniqueness and urgency and all that. And also at SalesWings, we have a decision matrix that we use whenever when we have decided we're going to buy a new software. What we are doing here, and this is an example of help desks that we had evaluated. So I've hidden the vendors here, but we listed all the requirements that we've had. We also gave it a rank. How important is this for us? Is it nice to have, must have, etc.? To what extent did each vendor meet this particular need? And then we have a balanced score at the top. So this is a way, build a decision matrix, a requirements matrix, and you will be able to offset some of the risks right there. Longevity also. So when you buy, you may not often know how your needs are truly evolving. So of course, you have to always find a good balance between selecting a software vendor that will do well what you need today and then give you the necessary flexibility moving forward. But finally, that comes with a cost. Flexibility comes with a cost. If you invest into a platform, you will pay for functionality that you're not using, just because it makes the software more expensive. So it's a bit of a balancing act. But of course, a software vendor will not just build 5 features for you if they become a must-have all of a sudden. Hence, again, the importance to plan. Now, controlling here as well. So what if they remove a feature? So I gave the example of Marketing Cloud that retires functionality at times, like all the vendors do. So this is, of course, a risk. Actually, at SalesWings, we had recently used the software. They removed the key integration. We were left with that. So it's just a risk that you have to take at certain moments. Now, on the pros. So when you buy a software, you benefit from all the investment that has already gone into the software. So software companies, they build software, they enhance them constantly, and at times over a decade, over two decades, reducing some of the operational maintenance risks tremendously for you. Think about Salesforce. You can buy a license for, let's say, $100, $150 a month. and you're getting a software where billions of investments have gone into it. Good software will also come with subject matter expertise built in, so they should have a strong knowledge of the problem they're solving. So this you can find out when you speak to them, and of course also when you read about their read on their blog and the white papers, etc. But essentially, this is a big benefit: is you benefit from a large investment that has been done. The other element is speed to value. So it is essential, essentially the fact that most often you will be faster to market, I guess, with the software than if you custom build it. So that may not be a requirement. Of course, other factors may be more important, but time has a value, especially when you know and you quantified well the impact of an issue. So that is an important element. Cost control as well. Licensing costs tend to be more predictable than custom development costs. So we're almost done. Gonna have some time for some Q&A now. Yeah. So when you come across a challenge or an opportunity and all of that, consider your options: build or buy. On the buying side, there is the Salesforce Appexchange, for those that are not familiar with it. So there's a few dozen ISVs that are certified by Salesforce. So an ISV being certified means that Salesforce has done a security check, they've done compliance checks, they test the integrations, they test they will actually also validate that it's adding value to the ecosystem. So not everybody can become an ISV. Now let's just start with the sponsors here of this great event. So we have a PFL, so you can send direct email straight from the Journey Builder, which is a great add-on, of course. Custom building would be rather hard. Stencil here, so possibly you have complex emails you need to create, or a lot of them, and they're you want to have scalability in that process. Also building landing pages that maybe are more flexible and versatile than what's out of the box with Marketing Cloud. So instead of customizing and building that, and well, you could go with a solution like Stencil. Cesium, another example, and I guess these examples are just to show you also there is a wide array of ISVs out there. Cesium has built a TikTok integration that's really great, so you can engage buyers on an additional channel. We've talked about sales wings, so if you have a need for B2B, there's a sales team involved. Exact Target or Salesforce Marketing Cloud is not sufficient. Well, Sales Wings is a great add-on here for sales insights, CRM integration, lead scoring, etc. And a final one is Deselect. So Deselect is also an interesting tool, allows you to build audiences flexibly without coding, so possibly allowing you to build audiences faster, more independently from internal resources or external resources. So there are a lot of them out there. So in conclusion, analyze your needs really well. Think about today, but do think ahead as well. So whether you're going to pay an agency or hire somebody to do something custom, or you're choosing a software, there are implications of that. Always consider both. So building it, buying it is key. Status quo at times is the easy option, but not always an option. There's also that hybrid approach. You take existing functionality and you customize it, or you take an open source solution and then you tweak it to your needs. And then, of course, evaluate these risks. Evaluate the different risks that come and go with it. And finally, do talk to your agency, talk to the community, do a good background research, and don't make your decisions in the corner.